Welcome to Micka on Influence, your go-to podcast for bold conversations and impactful insight into influencer marketing, content creation, and the ever-growing creator economy. Every week, we are diving deep into real stories, smart strategies, and game-changing moves, shaping this dynamic space. From top creators to brand strategists, CMOs to media planners, we bring you raw, actionable insight straight from the front lines. This is where influence meets intention. Let's get into it. Welcome back to this episode of Micka on Influence. Now remember, this is the podcast where you come to learn about influencing, marketing, and of course, the world of media. And joining me today is Tristan Moses. Welcome to the podcast. Tristan, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Micka. Thank you so much for having me today. I think it's been a long time coming that we get to have a conversation. And I'm also excited to have a different kind of conversation with you. I'm used to football interviews and people talking about football all the time. And, the questions can always be redundant. So it's nice to have a conversation about some of my other interests.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to talk to you as well. Tell me a bit about yourself. Firstly, where did it all start for you?
Yeah. Wow, that's really a tough question because I could write a book about my whole story. Um, I think let's maybe start where I come from. I come from Cape Town. Uh, my family is originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and then I moved to the UK when I was about 5, 6 years old. I grew up there 6, 7 years. I spent in London. That's kind of where I established my love for football and the game. I fell in love with the game that side, and I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to pursue football and my love for football really came from my childhood. I think it also expanded my mindset. The environment was very important for me to grow up there and learn new things, see how other people live, different kind of cultures, and I think all of those things are just added to me and given me an advantage in adulthood. But yeah, I think I have my football story, I have my personal story, but with the grace of God, I'm here and I'm coming on and I'm doing the best that I can. And yeah, like I said, I have a long story and I hope that we can jump into it.
Love that. Yes, I would absolutely love to hear a lot more about your story. How did you go though? For people wondering right now, they're like, okay, I see him. He's that boy on the football field. How did you go from playing for Mamelodi Sundowns to becoming an influencer and then also a production company owner?
Yeah. So I think with media and the production company 21 Media, we've really established something that is really, really powerful for African athletes as well as South African athletes as well. I would say I was about 18 years old when we started my company.
Wow.
I was still playing for Kaiser Chiefs that time in the academy ranks, and I realized that I've always believed you need to be more than an athlete, not just the football player, Tristan, the football player, but I'm multifaceted,
Mm,
multidimensional, and I try my best to excel in everything that I do. And we started shooting on the cameras that we had back in the day, 2017, 2018. Just using what we had, trying to do some sort of filmmaking. And
wow.
I'm blessed to say now in 2025, we have a full-blown operation. We take care of athletes worldwide. Um, we take care of some of the best athletes in South Africa now, and obviously, we are at the forefront, I would say, of creativity, how can I say, just in terms of just being dynamic in the way we produce, telling our athlete stories, and I think that's important. So many stories, so many talented athletes within South Africa, within Africa, across the globe, and their stories need to be told,
Mm,
and that's exactly what we do. And, we blessed to also have relationships with a lot of brands that also help us to tell those stories as well.
wow. I love that. And I think you guys are doing
Yeah.
phenomenal work, of course. What is, would you say, the most challenging part in shifting to a personal brand to now becoming, an influencer as well?
Mm. Yeah. I sometimes don't even like the word influencer, because it's like a standard word, I always say you need to be yourself. I think that's where marketing is going now and
Yeah.
media is going, is people are, getting attached to people and genuine stories. I think that's what sells. Um, the traditional model of an influencer now, it was good, 5, 6, 7 years ago, it worked, but now people really want your story. People
Mm,
want to fall in love with you as a person. So I think being genuine and really telling your real story, that connects you to people. That connects you to the fans, to people telling your story. And on the back end of that, helps you, work with a real community.
yeah.
You look at this smoking community currently, worldwide. Guys like Actual Speed, Cass and Nate, these guys have just built genuine communities of real people that have been riding with them for many, many years. And on the back end of that, that just creates perfect marketing for this community. So I think that's, maybe I'm going off the topic, but I think that's the key to everything now is just community,
Mm,
instead of like quote unquote, it's a word, Um, yeah, you just have to be yourself. I think that's the key to personal brand. Be yourself, and if people resonate with your story,
yeah.
then that works for you.
Are there any particular lessons that you've learned on this journey? And particularly speaking now to younger athletes that also wants to make influencer marketing a part of their side hustle, what advice would you give them in making that
Yeah.
shift?
No, like I said, you don't, you have to be passionate about it. Number one,
Mm,
you also have to be passionate about building something for yourself, and you must also not be scared to step out of your comfort zone.
yeah.
You know, uh, that's one of the things that I think I try to do very early on. Is that like coming back to the conversation of trying to be more than an athlete in the beginning. I try to do different things. I try to sometimes pitch up to music events or do a fashion show, model as a fashion on a fashion show, or work with different kinds of brands out of my niche of being an athlete. So I think
Mm,
stepping out your comfort zone is very, very trying new things,
mm,
not being afraid to put yourself out there, and having fun with it. At the end of the day, I have fun with what I do with the business. We get to have fun, we get to travel, we get to meet all kinds of people all over the world. And I think the key to people falling in love with your story and people really resonating with you and
yeah.
helping you build the community is that it's try things
Yeah.
and create, and have fun with it and document your story. And I think that's the key to it because we started it very early. I remember when I was maybe 13, 14 years old. Again, we're just using the things that we had, whether that was a small camera or something. We just documented things. Now I look back at that, content and that media,
Mm,
and I say, wow, look at all these archive videos we have from over 10 years ago that we can build into content now. You never know where that can go, in the next 5, 6 years, whether you do a documentary piece or do a story piece, build content,
yeah.
shoot and create, you know, things will naturally just come together at the end of the day. And I think maybe now, as I'm older, you get to understand the side of media and marketing. And those are lessons I've had to learn myself. I never
Mm,
went to school for it. I didn't get educated on, but I had to learn, myself and how, brands work and how companies work and how media works,
yeah.
all that. So I think we're in a good position now. So I think that's the most important thing for any up and coming creators or people that want to work. I always tell our athletes at 21 Media as well.
Mm,
Tell them, educate yourself. educate on yourself and be creative. And that's what we do. We are, all in one solution for athletes and creators worldwide. Obviously, we're more focused on athletes because athletes is where my passion lies, and I'm an athlete as well. So that's where my passion lies. So yeah, like I said, it's just create, have fun with it, educate yourself on the business, of media and marketing, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to build a successful and fruitful personal brand going forward.
Yeah, I really like that. Quick question, how long did it take you to build that brand for yourself? Where you were in a position to then get those offers and participating in various campaigns and working with big brands? Was there like a certain time frame?
Yeah, look, I think, yeah, look, I would say it was first brand deal ever was a Nike brand deal. Can you believe that?
Well, yes, I
Um,
can.
in fact, that was in 2018. And I always tell the story, Micka, is that I never had a contract at Kaiser Chiefs, but I had a Nike deal.
Whoa, look at that.
That
That's
was
insane.
almost like, yeah, and yeah, exactly. So it was almost like a foreshadowing of what was to come. So yeah, that was kind of my first introduction. I got to experience, traveling with Nike, working with them,
Yeah,
shooting media, telling stories, and meeting some great, great people through Nike. So I think that was the first brand that I started working with. That was in 2017, 2018.
yeah. Wow.
So we've been at it for 7 years, whatever. But I would say it took a few years after that when we could get into the flow, start working with more and more brands globally. And I'm happy to say that I've worked with over 150, 200 brands over the last 8 years. So I'm in a blessed position, and I'll never take it for granted.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that and congratulations. That's so huge. The fact that you mentioned you landed Nike before even getting to Kaiser Chief. And
Yep.
you think, well, you
And
see that as foreshadowing. That's like manifestation. It's so cool. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
You've also worked
of course.
on this campaign recently, the Clicks Broscape campaign. Talk to me about that. What made that campaign
Mm.
work so well?
Wow. I haven't stopped speaking about that campaign since we did it. Firstly, credit to Gillette, credit to Clicks on the wonderful campaign that they did. It's so nice to do events or brand events with companies that understand the importance of people. Number one, especially with Gillette. Obviously, I worked with Gillette for the Clicks Broscape event. I was on Team Gillette. Unfortunately, we finished third in the what do you call it, the Broscape event. But like I said, it was a stunning, stunning event. Put together, well put together. We had fun on the day, and it also gave us an opportunity to meet all kinds of people. I think
Yeah.
I saw everybody there that I know. The whole football community came together that day. Um, so yeah, like I said, a stunning, stunning, stunning campaign. It was absolutely incredible. It was a pleasure to be part of it, and
Mm,
I think that's kind of the future of media and marketing. Events. The more real things get, the more you know. What's interesting, Mika? I've always said that football brings people together.
mm,
You know, football always brings people together, whether it's sports, football especially. The craze during World Cup, the craze during FIFA Club World Cups, all kinds of tournaments. You could see that the brands want to be associated with football.
mm,
And I think before maybe the brands didn't want to be associated with football in this country, but I think what brands need to realize is that there's power in numbers. There's power in
mm,
numbers in football, and football has numbers. Um, I see a shift now where brands are willing to, work with football athletes like myself as well. Obviously, the athletes that we have on our books at 21 Media. And like I said, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic event. And I'm really, really grateful for Gillette as well because There was a campaign after that as well that we did where I got to tell a bit of my story, and the freedom that they gave me to tell my story. I mean, that's priceless, it's priceless. Instead of just doing, a normal campaign video or, just product placement and all of that, they gave me the freedom to tell my story and share a bit of, inspiration to the people that watch me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And how do you think Gillette and Dove had an impact to connect with their audiences using these campaigns?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, Team Dove, Team Gillette on the day. I remember we played in this. It was so good to have, on our team. It was Matthew Stone, it was me, it was Kunda as well. Obviously on Dove, it was DJ Naves and Sweet Galuva, Akona, and a few of the other guys. But it was great presence for them, you know. It was great presence to have them at the event as well. Again, I think the more brands align with genuine people, the
Yeah.
more brands align with influencers that resonate with the everyday
Mm.
person. I think that's where they get the return. You know,
Yeah.
I think for a brand, you kind of need to fall in love with them. You need to fall in
Mm.
love, and I always look at what Nike have done over the years, Micka. Nike have always been good at their storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, um, whether it's their old adverts with Michael Jordan, or LeBron James, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Um, so yeah, I think Gillette allowed me to do that. Dove obviously came with their own strategy as well for the event, but it was the perfect event for them to get the word out and obviously get people to recognize their brands.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing that. What do you think is frustrating, given, working with so many
Mm.
different brands, different campaigns? What would you say is frustrating that brands don't exactly get right when it comes to working with creators, and how can they improve on that?
Look, I always say, number one, give us freedom.
Mm,
Give us freedom to create,
yeah.
because once you give us freedom to create, then you allow us to again tell genuine stories. I don't always like getting, when I get briefs across, I don't like getting these, standard status quo briefs, and it's like, this is what you need to do. It's this. And also, I think it's also, there's power in also selecting certain creators instead of having volume of creators on a campaign. Sometimes just having, fewer creators on a campaign that can make more impact.
Mm,
I think brands have also stepped away from doing the mega influencers and kind of
mm,
stepped into more the micro and medium tier influencers now. But I think those ones make impact the most. Again, it's what the people resonate with. I think, yeah, that's number one. Allow us to be more creative. We do freedom, and I think on the business side as well. I'll be honest with you, Mika. I think when it comes down to small things, whether it's timing, scheduling, giving us more time to create as well, I think it's good. I know sometimes the business world can be ruthless and with short deadlines and things like that as well.
yeah.
And I think even just like you said on the business side, give us more that so that we can create. Don't be scared to invest in us athletes or creators, um,
Yeah.
because the more, how can I say, the more they give us, the more we're able to create, and the better stories we can tell, and the better campaigns we can do. So I think again, marketing is sales. I've always said that marketing is sales, and if we can assist to sell,
Mm,
and we can assist to bring brand awareness to certain companies, then the brand shouldn't be afraid to, look after us, take care of us, and offer us, instead of doing shorter term campaigns, let's do longer term campaigns, focus on relationships with influencers and creators and athletes. And yeah, if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, there's other things, whether it's payment terms, things like that. They should stick to something,
Yeah.
that is motivating for the creator or the athlete as well. You know,
Mm.
um, we usually under a lot of tight deadlines to get content out and things like that. Sometimes with certain brands, uh, you have to wait some time in order to get your budget for a campaign or things like that. So I think if that process can be made more efficient for the creator on a day to day, then it makes the process better for us. We're motivated and things like that. And I know that topic doesn't relate to everybody, but that's something that I've just learned over the last 5, 6 years. Because once an influencer is motivated or a creator is motivated on a campaign, then you get the best product.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's just my 2 cents and a few of my thoughts and things I've
Yeah.
learned over the last few years.
Perfect, perfect. Has there ever been a time where, you had a bit of a, I don't want to say disagreement, but some backlash with a brand because you chose to be more authentic yourself and they wanted maybe a bit more brand pushing on their side? Speak to me of a scenario like that if you've had one.
Hey creators, Micka here with a quick tip to level up your influencer income game. If you haven't checked out Webfluential yet, you're leaving money on the table. It's Africa's #1 platform for creators, hooking you up directly with brands ready to pay for your influence. With the Creator Pro dashboard, you can chat with brands, manage your collabs, and watch the cash roll in, all in one place. More brands flock to Webfluential than elsewhere in Africa because they know your reach delivers a serious bang for their buck. Ready to cash in? Swing by webfluential.com. Claim your profile and turn your audience into a paycheck today.
I'm trying to think now. Because I haven't really had anything terrible. I've had campaigns where I've had tons of reverts, or tons of revision on content and things like that. That's sometimes frustrating because you have a vision
Mm-hmm.
and you create so authentically to yourself. The brand obviously comes back and says, you need some more product within a video or just to showcase something more. Um, but I wouldn't say I've had anything terrible with any brand. Usually what we create is of a standard that is excellent, and we work with brands. I know what they're getting when they work with me or with my company, 21 Media. So I don't think we've had anything, terrible. We work well with the brands that we work with, and the nice thing is that we're transparent with them at all times.
Yeah.
Whether that's getting an extra day for submission or a couple extra days for submission, but we guarantee a certain level of quality, we guarantee a certain level of excellence,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I run my business on is excellence, and my business on transparency. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that transparency and communication comes in there. If you just have a simple conversation and say, listen, this is definitely not me, maybe next time, or say, could we maybe adjust here or there? That's another way to maybe
yeah,
handle such kind of critique. Okay,
yeah.
so
Like a,
yeah,
I mean, yeah. Sorry, just to continue on that point as well. Even the conversation of just working with competitive brands as well. The exclusivity part. Sorry, I'm interjecting now, but I just realized it's another point
it's
as
all
well.
good.
Is small things like exclusivity. That's also a hot topic within brands and brand campaigns and things like that. I think brands have a lot of expectations of how can I say, of exclusivity
Mm,
over time, and I get that for a campaign. I understand, um, but there must also be considered that there's lots of opportunities for us, and at the end of the day, we need to be taking care for that exclusivity as well. And because at the end of the day, we're trying to, generate a lot of creators as well. This is their only source of income. They're trying to do something. They're trying to work with brands.
yeah.
So I think sometimes brands have a look at the exclusivity and see how they can adjust that to make it a bit better for the creators as well.
Yeah. Great. Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Tristan. Tell me, you're such a busy person, all right? You absolutely everywhere. How does the planning work
Mm.
with that? Like, do you plan your week or do you plan your month ahead? And how do you avoid burnout with your schedule?
Well, sure. This is a really hard topic because it's one of those things that you decide.
Mm.
You decide you either want something or you don't want something.
Yeah.
Micka, I'm blessed to have a mentality in this life. I grew up with a good father who taught me, discipline. He taught me mental strength, those kind of qualities. So I would say that, if you really want it, you can't complain.
Mm.
You can't slow down. You stick with momentum. So it's a very good question. Like I said, what helps me is I plan. Planning helps me a lot.
Mhm.
Before I do anything, I make sure that everything is run through in my head. And yeah, like I said, it just comes down to scheduling, making sure you do what you need to do, and keeping on and going. That perseverance, that's within me. You can't buy that. If it's too tough for you, then
Yeah.
it's not for you. So it can get intense sometimes. The workload can get a lot. But I'm also blessed to have a team around me as well,
Mm.
especially through my company that that sometimes take off a load off of me. Um, So yeah, like I said, I'm focused. I've always been this individual where I'm striving. I'm trying to get better every single day. I'm trying to do
Yeah.
better in my company, trying to drop, video campaigns, brand campaigns. And one thing that you'll see is that we try and do better every single time. So
Mm-hmm.
if you see a good video, we're trying to make it better. We're
Yeah.
trying to get better every single time. So we're not just, checking boxes every day.
Yeah.
We're trying to get better and we're trying to keep going. But yeah, like I said, I try to keep my life balanced, Mika. I try to train as hard as I can, work as hard as I can. Um, I'm still young, so or younger, so I need to keep going and keep pushing and build out the vision that I have for myself and
Yeah.
my business as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you are still young, eh? How old are you, Tristan?
27, Mika.
There we go.
Younger,
You said 27.
younger.
Look at you. And you've achieved so much. So, and I love your mentality and the fact that you mentioned that your dad has a big influence on that mentality, and it clearly it shows. So now I'm curious, how do you prioritize that kind of content? Like, how do you prioritize what your audience wants to see between lifestyle, wellness, and then sports as well?
Yeah, like I said, I've always the content, if we talk about content plans, all those things, I've never been a true fan of that,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it limits your creativity to a sense. I'm somebody who creates. So if I see something, I have a vision, I want to make this happen. We actually releasing quite a nice video in the next week or so on my personal page. We try to do some big videos every year. So at the end of last year, we shot a summer season video that was kind of a lifestyle video showcasing my time in Cape Town. There was some training in there, some lifestyle, some things like that. And that did very well. That got 118,000 views in 10 days.
Ooh,
So it did very, very
that's
well
numbers.
in terms of numbers.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's all organic, right? We never put any money behind it. So I think the numbers behind that is good for, my size at the moment. So we try to drop those exclusive videos yearly, two or three of those big videos, and in between we try to training content, lifestyle content, wellness content,
Mm,
brand deals, some event images, things like that. But yeah, coming back to your
mm,
question, you just have to go with what you feel is best. I know what works for my people, and the people that follow me, they love football content, they love training content, they
yeah.
love those kind of things. So essentially, they follow me because I'm an athlete. But I also like to, expose them to other things, whether it's my
Mm,
fashion content, whether that's, uh, you know,
Okay, fashion, come
What else?
on.
Event content. Yeah. I try.
You really are multidimensional, like you mentioned at the beginning of this episode. So that's pretty cool, and I'm glad you shared why it's important to have that
Mm,
balance and kind of give your audience, because your audience, they like hanging right now, right? They're looking at that
yeah,
page and they are loving every bit of what you are
yeah,
giving them, because they love, well, we love, I know I love seeing so much variety in one person. I don't like just seeing the one side. So thank you. We are spoiled for choice. I love that. um, Tristan,
of course.
what creative platform would you say, or how has the creative platform, Webfluential rather, boosted your credibility and opportunities as well as a creator?
Oh, look, it's been working with Webfluential has obviously been very pivotal. Oh, what am I saying? Pivotal,
Pivotal,
um,
there we go.
pivotal to what my English ran out. What I was saying is it really has given me a platform, to work with some of the best brands across the world.
Mm-hmm.
It really has, and it's a quicker solution for any creator, looking to work. The system and the platform of Webfluential makes things so much simpler. It takes away all the headaches of admin, invoicing, reaching out to brands, all these kind of things. So, it's a platform that is dynamic.
Mm.
It's the future for 2025 for Influential, and the creator economy as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's something very, very powerful that it's still got so much potential to grow, especially in Africa. And yeah, like I said, the team at Webfluential has also been good to me, and over the years I've been able to build relationships with the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis there.
Mm.
And like I said, it's been fantastic, absolutely
Mm.
fantastic. And again, I think there isn't a creator in the world that wouldn't want to use a platform like it. And yeah, I can't wait to work more and see how things go in the future with Webfluential.
Fantastic, and we're excited about that. If you had to give advice to athletes
Yeah.
transitioning now to becoming influencers, right? But they have that mindset of, I can do this by myself. I definitely could, which they could. But what are some of the key factors that Webfluential then offers, or features rather, that Webfluential offers that you would tell them, no, it's better to rather go this way for X, Y, and Z reasons?
Yeah, look, I was also a creator back in the day when I was still 17, 18, reaching out to brands and trying to,
You said seven
you
years
know,
old.
speak to them through the, yeah, 17, 17.
Oh, okay. I was
Um,
confused. 17, guys.
I don't think it was around that time.
Okay. Sorry.
So yeah, so no, it's okay, no problem. So what I was saying is, I think it's how can I say, it's more. I was that creator, I was the person who tried to reach out via DM or try to cold email brands and things like that. And then you realize that that just doesn't work at the end of the day.
Mm,
There's lots of layers to the business of marketing and
mm,
brands. And when I started working with Webfluential, probably 5 years ago now, more than 5 years ago, things were just easier. It was an
yeah.
all-in-one solution, and obviously for other creators, other athletes to work with Webfluential is powerful. It's
Mm,
powerful to work with them, and so, like I said, all in one solution, all-in-one solution to make things simple for you, and they make my life easier. I work with other companies as well, and obviously it's not as simple as working through Webfluential. So Webfluential is the future for influencer marketing, and it has been the future of influencer marketing. And I'm excited to continue working with you guys.
Wonderful. What is that one passion that your followers might not know that you have? Because now we know Tristan the
Mm.
fashionista, Tristan the wellness lifestyle guru,
Yeah.
and sports guru. What other passions that you have that you would like to share?
Well, it's interesting. It's tied into my business, but
Mm,
I love creating. Just the other day, I think sometimes people don't know that I have other passions outside of
yeah,
football. But just the other day, we were busy on a shoot with Kevin Johnson, who's the former Al Ahly coach. He was with Pizza Mosimane, and I had my photographer on the set, obviously shooting. We were shooting film and VHS and all that, and I decided to just step in, on the camera and just start shooting myself, and
okay,
it felt good, to
yeah,
be on the ground with my team. So I enjoy that as well. I enjoy creating, and I try my best to be, good on the camera, but I'm more focused on the business side of the company. Yeah, I would say that sometimes a bit of filmmaking, sometimes a bit of cooking.
yeah.
But I don't cook much, but I can cook. I try my best. So the paddle, I enjoy playing paddle.
Okay.
Enjoy hiking as well. So yeah, these are some other passions that I enjoy. I like playing sports. That's one thing though. I love playing all kinds of sports, and there's not many sports I can't play, unfortunately. So I try my best at everything.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, you are definitely a sports guru to the core. We don't want to take you on, Tristan. It's okay. You
Yeah,
win. You win. How has
very very competitive.
you are? I can tell you're a professional footballer. Yeah, you are competitive. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how has your
Yeah.
production company kind of shaped your influencer marketing approach?
Mm. With 21 Media, it's like my baby
Mm.
for I would say 7 years now,
Oh,
more than 7 years, probably 8 years now, and we've been able to grow it into a company, a full-fledged production house, as well as a marketing group. We also have our athlete podcast called High Press Podcast.
mm,
That's kind of one of our productions that we have under the company. We shot season one a couple of years ago. That's done very, very well. They did 3.3 million views in season one. So that was very, very successful. We had obviously athletes on, creatives. We had other filmmakers on,
yeah.
all reputable people. I did very well on TikTok, all organic. Like if I talk about the numbers, especially our one episode with DJ Naves, his
Mm,
clips were going like 800,000, 600,000. Like people really resonated with the content because they got an insight to how the people you see on the day to day think and what got them to where they are today. So we obviously waiting for the brand to come along for season two.
mm,
So if there are any brands watching this episode, there's a perfect podcast opportunity for you, and we can guarantee uh, awareness that's going up.
not you plugging your
Uh,
podcast on my podcast.
I appreciate it.
Gotta just have
Uh,
business
so
mentality.
yeah, yeah, just my business mentality.
No, I love it.
We can get you to host the podcast. I don't have to host it.
I am in. Please, can we talk about
Right.
this? Definitely, I'm there. That's me putting my
No
CV
problem.
in
I don't. I
virtually.
don't. I don't usually have the personality for TV for productions. So, yeah, I think maybe you're a better option to do it. Then it takes all that stress away from me.
Uh,
Um,
okay.
but yeah,
Yeah.
coming back to what I have to say, it really, really shaped the way we shoot things.
Hmm.
You know, the recipe that we have for the content is unique. It's so dynamic. It's so avant-garde. I don't know if that's even a. We try and be unique to the point that nobody's shooting the kind of content we shoot in Africa.
Mm,
You know, I always stand by it and say that our athletes are the athlete market in the country. There is nobody doing it like us, and I stand on that. I mean that in the wrong way, I mean it in the most positive way possible. Is that we we try our best. We push the boundaries with creativity. We push new ideas, new concepts every single time. We actually shooting a new campaign this week for another brand. And I was in a meeting earlier with my guys, and I told them, how can we make this different? How can we not stick to the standard brief and the way influencer content is always shot, and it's the same old shots and the same old this. How can we make this different? And I think that's our key to what we do. We come with a unique approach. The athletes that we work with, they know they get the best product. And one thing that I also never compromise on, Micka, is quality. I will never ever compromise on it. I think you ask now, how do you feel like it's shaped, or your company has shaped your content?
Yes.
I would say that that's one thing we never ever compromise on, is quality. Quality is something that I will never compromise on, and that's because I believe that campaigns, whether that's brand campaigns, it should be timeless. It needs to be timeless so that in 6 months to a year to 2 years, people can look back at that content and they can be like, wow, okay, that was a story. I resonated with it. Instead of shooting something on your phone and it's like just this kind of content, and then, oh, I just saw this ad, and people swipe, they forget about it in 3 minutes. You know, so I would say, once you adopt that timeless quality on your videos, and I know the audience will look back in 8 years, the brand will look back in 8 years and be like, wow, this content still resonates with them today. And I think Japan gave me that opportunity with my latest campaign with them as well, where that piece of content is timeless. Something that I can watch 10 years from now and be very proud, proud of looking at.
Very, very smart. Smart way to approach making content, focusing on the fact that it should be timeless. No matter when you watch it, you should be able to
Yeah,
relate on some level. So I love that.
100%.
Lastly, what is an unexpected revenue opportunity you've discovered? I love how they worded this question because it's actually asking
Oh,
you, how else do you make money, Tristan?
me? Wow, wow. Yeah, yeah. Being very straightforward.
He's like, should I share
Being very
it?
straightforward. I think yeah, 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 yeah. Should I share it? You know, no, no, it's fine. I'll give you an answer. Don't worry. I'm not. I think this year I realized I did something that I stepped out of my comfort zone for, which was doing an event with like a, how can I say, an entertainment venue. I don't know if this is the right answer to your question, but you talk about a different way of making income as an influencer or creator.
Yeah.
It's something that I never ever did, which was not like an entertainment venue or anything like that, but I partnered with them for an event, and that was the first time I'd ever, generated, but worked with a company where I did an event, we hosted an event, and all the athletes, all the people associated with my brand, there, the location was full for the event. I was able to, bring eyes there, bring notable people to the event as well. So essentially, we did our first event,
Mhm.
and the core focus was football. We brought a whole lot of athletes in, some people in the rap world as well. Some musicians came
Oh
in.
my goodness. This is a big
I think,
event.
yeah, it was a big event. It really did well, man. It was
Wow.
really successful, and yeah. So I think that was something very different for me as an athlete, which I stepped out my comfort zone a little bit to do. It was also a way to say, okay, that our company, your team can also do those kind of things.
Mm,
So I don't know if that makes sense, relates to the question, but it's just another way
it
to
does.
kind of make
Cool.
an income, is go through events as well. So that was the first
Mm.
time I did it. So I think that answers your question.
Definitely does. I've seen the success with how people can market themselves and put their brand in and build a whole event around that. And that is so smart because so much collaborations
Yeah,
can come from just building that one event. And yeah, you definitely answered the
Yes.
question. So thank you so much, Tristan. It's been phenomenal chatting to you. I've gotten a lot of insight, gotten to know you a bit better. For our viewers and
Mm.
listeners right now that wants to know more about you and they want to follow you, they're not following you just yet, drop the social media handles for you and your production company.
Of course, you can follow me at Tris Moses, TrisMoses, on
Hmm.
all platforms. And you
Hmm.
can follow my company, 21ZA. So 21 spelled out and ZA. So
So,
funny story, Micka.
yeah.
21 is my jersey number, right?
It's your what?
So it's my jersey number.
Right.
It's the
Okay.
number that I wear,
Okay. Okay. That's why
21.
it's
So
called
that's
21 Media.
actually,
Love.
it's also the winning hand in blackjack as well. So people that want to know the meaning behind it, I'm giving you guys nuggets today.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting to you, Tristan. You are more than welcome back on the podcast anytime if you want to dig some other, explore some other areas that we want to chat about, because definitely very curious. Our viewers and our listeners right now,
100.
don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on our YouTube channel and love this podcast. Share it with friends and family that you think will be interested in this particular conversation and drop your comments as well. Until next time, make sure you keep your eyes out on our YouTube channel for another episode of Micka on Influence. But that's it for today. Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Micka on Influence. I hope you're walking away with fresh insights and new ideas to level up your influencing game. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like, and also share with your network. Join the community obsessed with mastering the art and science of influence, because in this space, we don't just follow trends, we create them. Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and stay influential.